Vince is also live on Facebook under his Joey Ty.
It's not like it's live, it says live.
It says live. Here we are, in the kitchen together.
Hello.
I'm trying to get this to work.
Are you a teenager?
Yeah, I'm trying to get this to work. I'm telling people that I'm on your feed.
Say hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
I'm the misfit who wasn't actually on the show.
Yes, but she's got a podcast with...
He's the misfit, because he's the only one who won. So he's the real misfit here.
Just a little bit of a misfit in his own kitchen.
Right, well,
yes.
That's right.
And yet.
So this is, I'm Vincent Chan, and we're going to be baking with my friends. So
Yay.
This is Vincent Chan Bakes with Friends.
Yeah.
And what we're going to make today, before we begin of the introductions, we're going to make a cake that is going to be a chocolate Guinness cake with peanut butter filling. And it's going to look like a peanut, and it's going to have like a chocolate squirrel. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to try to do this, no editing. If it doesn't turn out, you're going to see all of it. It's going to be great.
It's a loose plan.
That's right. It's a loose plan.
My favorite kind of plan.
The recipe that I'm using for all of the stuff that I'll be baking today is actually Lisa's. Lisa is one of the co-hosts of the Baking Scraps podcast. It's amazing. And, give her a listen. So say hello to Lisa.
Hello. The recipe actually was from Christina, who is the other baking scrap. So it's kind of fantastic that we're kind of all being able to collaborate here. It's a Guinness chocolate cake. It is absolutely delicious and fantastic.
It is.
And then we have the peanut butter filling, which actually inspired the whole entire concept of the bake.
Yes.
So if you're allergic to nuts, this is a bad cake for you. If you're allergic to chocolate, if you're allergic to Guinness, but we don't care because we're not. So we're gonna make it, and then we're probably gonna eat it.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm here to eat it.
We're definitely gonna eat it. And we're trying not. This is no editing. So again, if this turns out great, if it doesn't turn out, then whatever. And our dear friend Steve, will be making the chocolate portion of this bake, which is the chocolate squirrel animal.
Figurine. It'll be a chocolate figurine. It'll be highly interpretive.
That's right. Hopefully a squirrel.
Hopefully a squirrel.
Hopefully a squirrel.
Yeah.
So I guess in terms of timing, because mine has to go in the oven for 40 minutes, I guess I should do my part first.
Go for it.
So I'm going to be making the chocolate Guinness cake first and stick that in the oven, and then we'll hand it off to these lovely people.
Beautiful.
All right?
Woo! Fun.
All right. Get my knees.
Get your knees. I'm going to grab the phone and a little bit of different filming there. See if there's any questions. Hi, everyone. All right.
I do love me a good knees, as they say.
Yes. So everything.
So, to begin with, we start with, I'm going to say 3 7-inch cake pans. And they've been buttered and lined, and then also dusted with cocoa powder. All right, so get those prepped and ready to go. And then to a large bowl with actually I'll use my favorite tool, whisk. And into a large bowl we will put 222 grams of all-purpose flour.
You gotta take whisks.
32 grams each of unsweetened cocoa powder and black cocoa powder. You see that? That's cool, right? As well into that, we're going to be putting 400 grams of granulated sugar. And 2 teaspoons of baking soda, which seems unusual, but that's good. And half teaspoon of baking powder in there, and 1 teaspoon of salt.
And if anybody missed, because apparently we were on mute for the Instagram Live for quite some time, we'll be replaying it. And we just did some introductions and talked about what we were going to be baking. Vince is making a Guinness chocolate cake, which is Christina from the Baking Scraps recipe, with a peanut butter filling, and we're going to attempt to make a squirrel and a peanut.
That's it.
That's where you're caught up now.
That's right. So what I'm doing now is I'm just whisking the dry ingredients together to sort of incorporate them all.
You gotta take whisk.
And, sorry?
You gotta take whisk.
Gotta take whisk. That's right. And yeah, so that's that. Easy peasy. Next thing, wet ingredients. 170 grams. I'll grab a bowl. Love having an organized kitchen. Know where everything is. So 170 grams of full fat sour cream. And
You can also use Greek yogurt for this. Works really well.
I didn't know that. 170 grams. Or, you know, a little shy of it. It's kind of running out. Which is totally fine, because what we can do in this situation, because this is live, I have 153 grams. I'm going to top that up with some milk to 170 grams. There we go. Perfect. No harm done. Give it a little mixy mix. And now we are going to put 118 grams of oil. Three large eggs. And this is my little compost bin. 3 large eggs. 2 and 3. So I like to crack my eggs flat on a flat surface as opposed to the side of the rim of a pan or anything, because it causes the egg to fracture naturally, and that way you'll get less shells in your batter.
What if you get a shell in your batter?
If you get a shell in your batter, then the only way, well, not the only way, but the best way to take it out is with the shell itself. You scoop it up with the shell, no problem, it'll take it right out. But if you try to like stick your finger in there, you'll be like fishing around for this thing all day. All right.
I just blame my helper.
Right, yeah, blame the helper. So we have a teaspoon of vanilla, or so, and 1 cup of Guinness. Where is my measuring cup? I just had it.
Nope, that's not a measuring cup.
Oh, I mean, it's being
You're using it for something else.
It's all. We have another measuring cup in here.
The Guinness is fun.
Oh, it's. Okay. I'm just gonna open the Guinness over a tray, because yesterday it went everywhere.
Yeah, I didn't worry about that.
Thank you for doing that on cue, Mr. Guinness.
That's right. There
Yes.
you go. So
Guinness did kind of
just go everywhere.
everywhere.
But I guess that's what beer drinkers are like. They're kind of slobs anyway. Kidding. Calm down. Everybody's calm.
It's nice seeing all your beer drinkers. Take care. Have a great day.
Calm drinkers.
Yeah, just calm yourselves.
Have a beer and relax.
That's right.
So what are you going to do with the rest of that can?
You guys are going to drink it.
All right.
We're the slobs.
The nice thing about it is it's kind of warm, so that's exactly how you want it.
Yeah.
All right. So that is all our wet ingredients. And you're going to give that a whisk. Break up the eggs. So when whisking as well, a lot of people like to whisk just in a circular motion. It's not the most efficient way to whisk. Whisking is a side-to-side motion, like this, because what you want is you want the batter or whatever you're whisking to go back and forth through the tines, and this is the most efficient way to whisk. as opposed to just going around and around in circles. All right?
It smells so good.
Really? It smells like beer.
Well,
It smells like carbon here. All right.
Okay, sorry, it doesn't smell good. It smells like I shouldn't be enjoying it.
Okay, and so that is everything. Very easy cake. All of this gets dumped into the dry.
I'm learning something new about the whisking.
Yep. In this situation where you're just trying to stir something together, then going around in circles is fine.
Yeah.
And some people say do the figure 8 whisk motion, which is even better, but I'm not very coordinated that way, so I don't go that way. Now I move to a spatula.
And you got the oven preheating on
340 degrees on convection. 350 degrees if you're just baking on a normal oven.
Are we in your way?
No, not at all.
So
Come in and say
there's
hi.
a question I honestly have been meaning to ask forever because I hear this all the time when I hear people doing
Come in closer
recipes.
then.
When you say 340 convection, because my oven's a convection oven,
Mm-hmm.
if I punch in 340
Yeah.
and convection, it will show me 315. So it knocks it down by the 25 degrees. So
Yeah.
when you say 340, do you mean to punch in 340 or punch in 365?
My oven doesn't do the automatic calculation, but yes, it's usually 20 to 25 degrees less than when it's on convection because the air is moving. But to be really honest with you, it doesn't really, I haven't found that much of a difference. Where I do find, like if I do 350 convection, 350 regular bake, it's fine because I just bake it a little longer if it's whatever. But where I do find lowering the temperature helps is when you're using a darker pan.
Okay.
So if you're not using like a stainless steel pan or an aluminum pan, you're using a darker pan, definitely drop it down 25% because, or 25 degrees because the dark pan absorbs heat more and it will overcook the outside before the inside gets cooked. All right?
Now I know.
So.
Is that what happened with your pound cake?
No.
I'm going to stand back.
No, actually. What happened with my
I made that joke once. Once.
If we brought it up on the podcast, I wouldn't be feeling safe bringing it up now.
No. Well, the pound cake situation fiasco was basically, baking powder reacts with, or baking soda reacts with acids.
Mm-hmm.
So I had forgot to strip some thyme and chop it up while the stuff was mixing.
Oh, okay.
So by the time I realized it only took 2 minutes to chop up some thyme, but within those 2 minutes, I've beaten all of the activated bubbles out of the pound cake, and that was the end. So we have 3 pans, prepared pans ready, and we're just going to divide the batter into each one evenly.
Just gonna check if our sound is working on this one. Lost sound again, Rosie said. That doesn't make sense. Can you hear us now? It's not muted this time. Oh, we'll hope. Might be because I've got it sitting low down.
Wow.
All
of a sudden, this is like an I Love Lucy episode.
I do love a little vintage music when I'm making a vintage type cake.
That would be a good idea.
So right now I'm looking at 445 grams per pan, thereabouts. And that is actually going to be perfect, I think.
Yeah,
Look at me go.
that was pretty good. Was that a calculated guess?
It was a calculated guess. There we go.
445 on each scale.
So that's it.
Impressive.
Tap, tap, tap.
Explain why you tap.
The reason why we tap the pans is to remove any of the large air bubbles.
Air bubbles are good though, right? Don't we want air in there? Keep it nice and...
You want air in there, but you don't want big pockets of air.
Okay.
Right? So that is that. My stuff is in the oven. And we're going to put on the timer, excuse me,
Yes.
for I think it was 35 minutes or so.
Well, that is...
I thought we had because we don't know ballroom.
But this is why we're low time.
Do we need to put on some music? We need to drown out the jokes. Wait, you were starting to tell a joke earlier. What happened?
That's an oldie. That's an oldie.
So are we moving on to the...
Now we're moving on. I'm just going to clean up my station so
Yeah.
I can let you guys have your time in the spot right there.
All right. 2 scales. That's brilliant. Everybody's really excited about you having more than one. I know. I was thinking the same thing. I was looking at it. I was like, I need more scales. He had 3 scales all beside each other. But also, like, can we talk about this island? How many people wish that they had just an area like this just for working on? I mean, my kitchen is huge, but it's a disaster when I'm baking. All right.
I guess who's up? You're up.
I guess I'm up. So we're gonna make some rolled buttercream. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how this works. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Lisa Stewart. I am a home baker. I am a nurse by trade. And these guys somehow let me in their little club, which is...
Well, you can't force yourself into the club. We're not going to go there.
I'm standing in your kitchen right now. I wouldn't be here if you didn't let me in. Right?
I
I don't know that to be true.
I don't know if that's true either.
There was a little bit of a worry when I first came into your lives. You guys were like, okay, wait a second.
But I have both my ears. That's
We
all
were
that
going to
matters.
meet in person, and they were actually having a conversation about, okay, is this person safe? Do you know her? Are you comfortable with this? Is she going to chop off our ears? Is that how, essentially how it went?
Something like that.
So what we're going to make here, we're moving on because,
Yes.
you know, just don't want you guys to put me down.
You're doing great.
This is an alternative to fondant for covering a cake. I've only made it once before. It worked really well, so we're going to attempt to make it again. It's basically a buttercream that is stretchy, like has the ability to be rolled out, and then you can put it over a cake. Very simple ingredients. You've got some butter, some corn syrup, and some icing sugar. So actually, I think we're going to have to move into you after we get this started because it needs to beat for 10 minutes, and nobody wants to sit here watching me.
I've never beat for 10 minutes.
See, didn't even move my lips. Marley, you can hang up now, too.
This is my channel. We can say whatever
It's
we
true.
want.
Yeah. Okay, so smallest, I think, stand mixer.
Okay.
Because this is 125 grams. It's not a whole lot of butter. And what we want to do is we're going to get this butter whipped up so it's nice and fluffy, and it's about 10 minutes. And then we're going to add in the icing sugar and the corn syrup, and then it's just kneading it until it's soft and pliable. I'm scared to say any words now. It's an excuse for a joke.
There you go.
Okay, we have another spatula.
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course.
Silly.
I'm sure
Billy! Oh, nobody knows what
No,
that means.
we know Billy.
I can kind of assume. Okay, so
So are we going to color? We need to color this too.
yeah, we do need to color it.
So I'm going to have to get some gel color for you.
we can do that. That'd be
All
great.
right, I'll go get
All right, so we've got 125 grams of butter, and we're going to just fit it into the stand mixer. And then, Steve, I'll start it going, and hopefully it won't be too loud for your talk. You tell us that it's not loud. Mine at home are very loud. Christina's is very loud. We made a video, which will be airing in a couple of weeks, where Christina and I are being taught how to make bread. And the stand mixer was going the whole time while we were interviewing our special guest. And let me tell you, it is not easy to get that out in post-production. All right, so we're going to let that go. And Steve, why don't you come in and talk about what you've been working on for our...
Actually, before we let Steve talk, maybe we should move the stand mixer
Away from the
underneath
microphone. No, it's the microphone.
Yes, that might be a kind of a nice thing. So let me just move it back
I
here.
really appreciate you thinking about things like that. Sorry, I thought I locked it. I don't have that kind of.
What is my deal?
Sorry, you thought you locked it.
Very from the bottom.
Yeah, I was just gonna suggest
Bad
that.
things happen, yeah. But that's all entertainment, right?
Yes, as long as people can see what's happening. And now they're gonna be able to hear. So, hopefully.
All
Thank
right.
you. Alright.
I'm bringing in the real loud stuff now.
Right?
Food
Y'all
processing.
are gonna have to play along with me because I've only done this once or twice in my life, so we don't know that this is gonna work. I'm going to need some surgical gloves, please.
Oh, yes.
Gloves mate. Okay, that's my specialty.
That's why I'm standing like
Yes,
this.
alright. We'll do it the way we do it in the OR.
Thank you. Oh, and do you have like a cake board? The cheapies.
Cheapies?
What am I thinking?
What size?
8 inches would have. That would be nice. 6 inches, okay.
Alrighty, so we're going to attempt to make a squirrel out of chocolate.
Something you have not done before.
Never.
But you're under orders from Mr. Vincent Chan.
While I do sculpt chocolate, I do abstract kind of stuff. I've already tempered my chocolate and I have created some egg shapes in hopes of making a squirrel. Alrighty, so to temper the chocolate, I'll just tell you what I did. Simple is I took 400 grams of dark chocolate and I microwaved it in slow increments, stirring it in between maybe every 30 seconds or so until I hit 50 Celsius. Once I hit 50 Celsius, I took a quarter of that weight, which is about 100 grams, threw 100 grams of chocolate back into it, and I mixed and mixed and mixed until I get down to 32 Celsius or until my chocolate is completely melted. If it's not melted, just keep on mixing until I get down there. Ideally, you're not talking chocolate chips. You're talking actual chocolate because chocolate chips have stabilizers in there. You need just pure chocolate. Dark chocolate is 50 degrees Celsius down to 32. Milk chocolate, white chocolate, 45 Celsius, also down to maybe about 30 Celsius. Invest in a thermometer, invest in a scale. Everything else becomes really, really easy in baking. I am living proof that baking can be easy.
I don't think that's true. So I have these cake boards here. I'm going to just show you what they look like when I bought them. These cake boards are terrible. This is the anti like promotional item because they do not sit flat. You put a cake on it and they still don't sit flat. But they're good enough for Steve on his stuff.
They're perfect for the chocolate. They really are. Before I go on to what I have to do, are we okay with me getting chocolate all over your counter?
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about. Okay.
Do we need to clean the counter a little bit more?
No, we're okay.
All right. It's pretty clean.
It's clean as the counter.
This is Vince's house. It's
Yeah.
clean.
So I hope that the temper has these guys have set. They have not been sitting for a whole long time. It's the hope. They should pop out if they're set. Which, just like that. Look at that. They did. They're nice and shiny. There's going to be a snap to them. Ideally, son of a gun.
Wow, they're beautiful.
It's like I got a clue.
That's amazing.
Alrighty. So these are going to be the body of the squirrel, I hope. And this is going to be the head of the squirrel. So these,
Oh, yeah, there you go.
these are coming out too.
Why don't we show the camera how beautiful they are?
We got a nice
This guy,
shine.
this guy.
This guy melted some chocolate. Pretty good.
Yeah,
Pretty
look at
good.
that. See, look at that.
Alrighty.
I'll just do dishes while he's doing that because I can't.
Because we don't have enough background sound.
Now, what I will need is, you know what? There's a couple of ways to do this, because to put these together as a whole, you need to melt the chocolate. One way to do it is to get a baking pan, put it over an element, and then you just sort of rub this on it. My favorite way is to play with fire, and I prefer a blowtorch. Man, see, I have a blowtorch.
We do have a blowtorch, Steve.
Excellent. A blowtorch and any metal surface, baking sheet would work.
All right.
I'm just going to meander over here for a second because I want to show everybody that. Because I think that's pretty darn cool. That.
So for that,
We
Steve,
are in the home of the winner.
we are going to light it with the stove.
Okay.
Just turn it on. And
Oh, we got lots of hearts for that. Woo!
All right, and
you want to know?
sheet handy. Yeah. I just like to have the fire going at all times. For me, the baking is all about the toys. It really
Everybody
is.
gather around the
Or
fire.
do you want to? Are you using that?
No, this is fine. Yep. So I'm going to heat this up because I just need a little bit of melt going on. It's probably way too warm already. Put this down. Kids, try this at home because I'm not your parent.
Wait, I thought your daughter's watching.
I've raised them already. I've ruined whatever chance they had, so. It's just that easy. And it doesn't have to be perfect because we're going to clean this up or make it worse as we go on. So that's one body.
And that's never a statement that I make. Just say it.
No. And the reason I had 3, because you only need 2, is in case one of them broke, you always want to have spare. Same with the heads. I got 4 of these pieces. I only need 2.
Bubby Marsha just said his mother is watching.
Oh, hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
My mom is, you know, this is where a guy says, my mom is my biggest fan. My mom is his biggest fan.
I love her. I love her. I love you.
That blowtorch is probably shouldn't make me nervous.
Just don't stand in front
That
of it.
blowtorch
Yeah.
should absolutely make me nervous. Okay.
All right, so you got. Is the squirrel gonna have 2 heads?
The squirrel will have 1 head, but you never know what might happen in the production of said squirrel.
All right.
Okay. So now, I mean, this is, let's face it, if I put this and I put this, it's not going to look much like a squirrel. So what we're going to do is we're going to make some chocolate. Some people will use modeling chocolate. Modeling chocolate for me, again, if I can use just pure chocolate, modeling chocolate has additives in it to make it pliable, make it usable. You can make your own modeling chocolate so it'll be better, taste better. I just want to make like straight up chocolate. And the way you do that, and there is a method, it's got a name. I don't know the name, you can look up the name if you want, but essentially we're going to melt this chocolate to the point where it's still in temper. And temper, when I keep saying the word temper, so when you temper chocolate, you know when you buy a chocolate bar, or if you're American, you buy a candy bar, and you take it out, a Hershey bar, and it snaps when you eat it. If you just melt chocolate and then let it form again, it will not snap. It'll sort of kind of bend. It'll have sort of a dull finish to it. It won't be shiny. That's when you know it's out of temper. So what we're going to do now to make some sort of quote-unquote modeling chocolate is we're going to get the chocolate. We're never going to take it out of temper, meaning we're never going to get it above about 30, 32 degrees Celsius. And how do we do that? Well, you can't put it in a microwave, you can't put it on top of a double boiler, but you can use friction. That's where this lovely food processor comes in handy, and more science. Baking is all just science, and so that makes this baking.
Awesome.
Kinda. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So let's give it a try, because if this works, we'll all find out together.
Do you want to use your other chocolate?
Sure.
Why not? Right?
Yes, right.
Just going
Well, I'll
into-
need more. So yeah, so this is the leftover chocolate that I used to make these eggs. So this is intemperate, and we knew it was intemperate right away. Aside from all the testing I did on the temperatures, as soon as I put it on the board, it started to solidify. It started to gloss over, and it's already sort of snapping. I mean, this will take a while to get into fully set up.
The kitchen is warm.
But yeah, the kitchen is warm. So all we're going to do is we're going to put chocolate into the food processor. Yeah, we might want to move those because I know me.
Yes.
I'm going to
You're gonna
destroy
pick them up and break
It's-
them up and put them in the food process.
It's making Vincent very nervous.
Yes.
The blowtorch was also making some of our viewers nervous. Rosie
You
was,
set my house on fire.
Rosemary was getting a little nervous.
Rosemary who?
Rosemary.
Our
Rosemary.
Yeah.
Our
Val
Rosemary, yes.
Are you watching? Love you.
Woo!
You know,
How much, like,
I
do
won't-
you not have to, like, raise that?
no, because I'm just making modern
Oh,
chocolate.
there's nothing
These are
else.
baking scraps.
There it is, and there's nothing else going in there but.
Just chocolate. Straight
Oh,
chocolate.
cool. That's
Keep
cool.
on adding chocolate.
That's cool.
All I have to do with this is I got to make a tail. What else am I doing? Oh, I'm going to need the blowtorch again.
He just put it
I
on.
am going to need the blowtorch again. This is going to be awesome. Because I haven't
It's
made,
gonna be awesome.
I haven't made Rosemary nervous enough. And that is my job in life if you're still watching, Rosemary.
So this is, how are you using the food?
Well, I'm going to use, well,
In here?
no. I'm going to use that because I'm going to have to connect the head
Okay.
to the body. So I'm going to have to melt
Oh,
a
right.
little bit of chocolate and do a little, this guy's out of whack. He's been eating a lot of peanuts. So he's going to be proportionally,
He's a Guinness drinking squirrel.
he's a Guinness drinking squirrel. He's a
Right.
big old slobbing Guinness drinking squirrel. Yeah, so
So
get
just,
that ready.
just a little little tip from me is whenever I use the food processor, I like to put a little bit of saran wrap or plastic wrap over the top of the processor lid so that I don't get it all up all over my cover. So sometimes when you're using like icing sugar and things like that, it just blows everywhere, and then you have to wash this thing for what reason, I don't know. But anyways, so this
One less thing to watch.
one less thing to watch.
I love you.
Right? That's what
That's
I-
I am
Great
today
difference.
years old when I found a shortcut of something I don't have to wash.
Yes.
Oh,
Or
I'm so
Stacey has to
excited.
watch.
Yeah.
If it's chocolate, she's already gone. So I'll come back when the tornado's finished. Okay, so let's crank this bad boy on. It's going to go through some stages where it's going to start to crumble up. It's going to turn into a powder, but eventually we're going to get, you'll see, we're going to get into almost like modeling clay. You ever done this before? Oh, cool.
Shut up. That's amazing.
This is insane.
I would have never even thought of
I
that.
have never seen anything like it. It's like pistachio dessert.
Yeah. It's like I chewed it up and spit it up.
That tastes good.
Well, I really don't know.
Okay, I'm
When it
gonna.
starts to dance around.
Yeah, we're almost
This
there.
method, Bacon Scraps says,
Watch
this
your
method is so
fingers.
very cool. Which,
Yeah, and also be
Agree.
careful of the blades.
Yes.
The blades are sharp, the fire is hot.
Great.
I am a trained professional. And by trained, I mean taught myself. And by professional, I mean complete amateur. Come on now. Oh, you know what would help? A spatula.
we know where the spatulas are kept now.
We do. Billy!
Rosie said, of course, the four of you, how could I miss it?
The four of us.
Well, Christina and I.
Oh, I thought she was expecting Nebbits to show up.
That would be a treat.
It's
Unless
coming.
that's what you mean.
Rosie loves Nebbits. I believe she used some words that children shouldn't hear regarding Nebbits once upon a time with me.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Is yours not jam up like that?
No, mine drops down.
Really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Like a
Like
like a 2 months old testicle.
That's actually like a descendant testicle.
It was
I'm
gonna.
not part of this conversation.
You're a nurse, you know all about this stuff.
Oh yes, I know about testicles.
I'm sorry, I thought they said tentacles. That's why there were 8 of them.
Sure, this squirrel desperately needs tentacles.
Okay. I see some in there, yeah.
It's coming.
So it's actually, you need to take it to the point where it's starting to liquefy a little bit, it
Yeah.
seems.
This is
See, we're
Crazy.
getting there because now it's starting to get mushy, right? And so now it's becoming modeling. Now, if you want to make long, wispy type things,
Or turds.
or turds, you get it.
again. I'm a nurse. I know turds.
But you can. This is, if you've ever seen any of the sculptures I've done, this is how I make my sculptures. And you only have a short amount of time to work with this stuff because it starts to harden up because you've not taken it out of temper. And you work with it just like you would, Play-Doh, modeling dough. Can we say Play-Doh? Yeah, maybe they'll want to sponsor us.
You can say it on this channel.
Play-Doh will want to
Yeah.
sponsor Baking with Friends.
Yeah. After all the talk we've had, why wouldn't they?
Play-Doh.
You know, Play-Doh, testicles.
So if we were making a rat, this would be its tail. This is how you would do it. But literally, we're going to leave that there for one moment.
We're not making a rat.
No. Anyway, I'm going to leave that there and show you how quickly that sets up. In the meantime, I'm going to grab a couple more pieces.
Is
And
that your shoulder?
no, that's the chocolate.
Something popped.
It was not my shoulder. I'm not there yet, lady. Okay.
Oh gosh, Jesse.
Oh, is my daughter on? My other daughter.
That's
now.
my dad. Great moment to join.
That's my gal. Okay. So we're going to sort of form a nice bushy tail. Oh, Vincent, could you do me a favor? Could
Yes.
you get my art kit? The bottom one there would be the art kit.
And while you're working with that, I am going to add the corn syrup
Okay.
to the butter that's been quipping.
How much corn syrup are we adding?
We're adding 125 mils of corn syrup. Milliliters.
Now, any one of you who've watched, and I'm going to mangle his name, Amour Guichon.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. When you see him do it and he makes it effortless, this is all the stuff that's going on behind the scenes while he's doing it, because he does a lot of modeling with his chocolate as well, and this is what he's doing in the background. Oh, do you have the slide? Do you have the what I was using before, the paint?
Yes.
Yeah.
What? Are we
Vincent may not make it through. Thanks.
Hey, I enjoy a dirty joke. I just want to understand it.
No. There's no specific dirty joke.
Okay.
It's sort of right in itself.
Oh man, yeah, I didn't see this.
Okay. Now, and again, you don't use the dirty hands, and you have assistants, and you have. But we're actually gonna.
We're gonna move this or?
Now I'm gonna actually mangle it now. Yep. There we go.
Well, there's going to be fur on it and stuff like that.
Exactly. We're gonna put this bad boy up.
Direction. Really bad. It looks like a teapot. That's what it looks like. A teapot.
Yeah, we're getting to the teapot
Yes.
area. Okay.
Yes.
Oh, may I
Very
have
good.
one more lovely slice of parchment paper to
Yes.
put this on, because otherwise this will fuse to the counter
Oh yeah.
and all our work will be for naught.
Yes, we don't want that.
So this is really all about your sculpting abilities, which I have none, but you're all figuring that out very, very quickly. Thank you.
So you can take some more little pieces of the chocolate to make a bushier tail.
Yep. But in the meantime, this stuff solidifies pretty quickly.
So you just
So
throw
what
it
you
in.
do is you just throw it back in, you run it again, try not to cut yourself. Although if you're going to, have a nurse around.
That's right.
I have no idea where the first aid kit is. So.
Did you carry one with you?
No,
Oh,
in my
my.
apron. Yeah.
I just assumed. I watch a lot of TV and they always carried their kits around.
I mean, I am a labor and delivery nurse, so my kit is a little bit different from what you might need.
Well, I'm currently having some Braxixtons, I know that.
Some what?
Some, you
Some
know.
Braxton
Yeah,
hits.
that's it.
My friend Erica just joined and she works with me on labor and delivery, so this is a perfect time for her to come in.
All right.
Erica, Steve is having
Hi.
Braxton Hicks.
Yeah, not Braxixtons.
What are we gonna do?
Okay, we're gonna give him some little feet. And really, it's chocolate. You just play with it until it looks like what you want it to, and if it doesn't look like what you want it to, you think anyone's gonna complain when they can just break off a piece of chocolate? I don't think so. Unless you're on a national TV show and they're judging you.
Well, if it doesn't look like what you want it to, you can always throw it into the bed for a real funny joke.
Yes, you can do that.
Yes.
Okay, so there's a foot.
And in the meantime, I have slowly added the corn syrup to the butter, and I am going to slowly add 500 grams of icing sugar. If it's coming from a bag, it doesn't need to be sifted. If you've got it sitting in some kind of a container where it's all settled, you're going to want to sift it, or at least throw it around a bit. Just shake the container,
Shake it around.
and then measure it up. So I'll be slowly adding that, and then I'm going to be kneading it for a while. So.
Because if there's one thing we all need, it's icing. But fun.
Yeah, better. Did you make a pun?
It's all I do.
Excellent.
So another little tip when using icing sugar,
Okay, let's see over here, but
here, but anyway, another little tip when you're using icing sugar and you're putting it into a mixing bowl, I always like to throw a tea towel over top of it so that the icing sugar doesn't go like a big cloud in the sky. And definitely do not put icing sugar into a mixing bowl at more than a stir speed until it's incorporated.
how's the squirrel coming?
Squirrel's actually,
Looking like a squirrel?
it's swirling better than I thought it was going to.
Swirling.
I'm surprising myself just a wee bit. This is one of those things where it'd be so cool to have a squirrel and just pretend I'm making it, throw it into the fridge, pull it out. Wouldn't that be so cool?
So one of the reasons why I wanted to have this recorded and showing all of you out there is that, you know, as I am a baker, there's always things to learn, and I'm learning 2 new techniques today which are amazing from 2 amazing people. So rolled buttercream
Buttercream? Yeah.
and modeling chocolate. That's not modeling chocolate, it's called something else with an R apparently.
I think so, yeah. Just straight up chocolate.
Straight up chocolate. And I love this. This is amazing.
It's
Oh,
fun.
this is hilarious.
And
And it looks like
It's
she's,
so cute.
oh my god, it looks like she's like a 70-year-old woman.
This is where I knew this would go. I just knew it would go down that road.
Mr. Potato Head.
And instead of being worried that I'm making it all mucky and gross, I'm making it fur. Now I'm just trying to give it a little texture because it's going squirrely.
If we're wanting to put some color in this, now is the time. Or no, you know what? I can do it while I'm kneading it. Might as well.
So what color are we doing?
Well, it's
we're
got to be
doing
peanut color, right?
Right, which is going to be
Black and green.
alright. Probably hawthorn, Buckeye brown.
Buckeye brown, yeah.
Is that Buckeye brown too?
Yeah, that's Buckeye brown. And may I borrow some gloves as well? Or no gloves, but
Yes. And there's my cake.
I know that sound.
that's a favorite sound for us.
Is it?
For me.
So I'm going to take the cakes out, one of them, and test it. And we'll see if it's done. Boy, everything's sort of happening all at once.
This is what happens, right?
This is efficiency, people. This is what
I'm glad, because I want us to be efficient in your kitchen.
Yes, because that's the way it has to be.
Yes. Where did those gloves come from?
Right here.
Yeah, you're doing your thing.
Yeah, let me
Down
just
there?
use my
Okay.
thing. So, the cakes look fantastic. The tester came out nice and clean. And for me, yeah, they're great.
Good, good, good.
Oh, there's right here. So, for chocolate cake, I find that it's better to like err on the side of over baking than under baking. A lot of cakes, such as vanilla cakes or lemon cakes and things like that, if you have some crumbs on your tester, that is perfectly good because that way you know that the residual heat will continue to cook it. However, with chocolate cake, it can be a little gummy and a little dense if you don't err on the side of overcooking. So I always test my cakes and make sure that the tester comes in clean and you're still good to go because there's a large margin for error. Wouldn't you agree, Steve?
Oh yeah,
For
yeah.
chocolate cake?
Chocolate cake for sure.
Yeah.
Because they're so moist. I mean, you saw when Vincent made it. It's essentially a liquid. It's going in there like as a versus like a. Well, no, because when that's what I always say that for me, like when you make a chocolate cake, I'm putting essentially something you could drink into a pan, and when I pull it out, it's something you have to chew. To me, it's amazing. Whereas when you have a butter-based cake, it's a much thicker batter. It's a chewable batter, essentially. So yeah, and so when your batter is thin and runny like a chocolate cake would be, unless it's a butter-based chocolate cake, then yeah, you can cook it for longer. And it's going to be moist for days and days and days. And whereas
you can do it a week ahead.
yeah, butter-based cakes, not so much.
Yeah. And the other thing about cake testing, first thing you do is give the pan a little bit of, not a vigorous shake, but just a little shimmy in the oven. If the middle is still sort of moving around, it needs more time. Usually my rule of thumb is about 8 minutes if it's shimmying in the middle for any cake. Second test is when it's not shimmying anymore and you still don't think it's done yet, give it a listen. If it's talking to you and it's bubbling and like you hear crackling, like fast crackling, it's still cooking. If it starts to be crackling like just, then it's pretty well done. And the third thing is using a cake tester, of course. So, and when I put the cake tester into a cake, if I feel a little bit of resistance all the way down from the top to the bottom, you're pretty well guaranteed that it is cooked through. It's when you put the cake tester in, it sort of just quickly sinks towards the bottom, you know that it's still a little bit raw on the bottom.
Kind of like the difference between putting a screw into drywall or into a solid wall.
Yeah, into a solid wall or into a stud. Yes.
Yeah, into it. Yeah, if you're putting it into a stud versus if you're putting it right through the drywall and it's like ka-chunk. That's a stud. We're not putting screws in you. Don't go there. Don't go there. I need to need boys. Please. Where can I put this so that I can knead? I need a little bit of counter space.
Does everyone see the moment of regret on Vincent's face when he realized that he shouldn't have invited me to
You
come?
need to put the color in before this.
I was going to I was just going to stick it in and knead
Okay,
it
so,
together.
how much more time do you need?
I'm going to need a bit, but I can do that off camera for
what
sure.
about this?
Because I'm going to have to spin that again
Okay.
and keep working. Because now I'm getting into sort of.
Yeah. Do you want to move over
Working
this
into
way
it,
a little bit, and I'll just
Please.
kind of sit around.
I can just be over
So
on the
I'm
side.
going to show the camera what I got here. So
excuse me,
it's
back.
kind of, I have a couple of different cameras here. So it's kind of a bit of a goopy mess. That's the butter, icing sugar, and corn syrup.
I'm just going to clean the table up for you.
And this, don't forget, this is also going to stick to the...
Yes, well, you can show them how quickly that thing's
Look
set
at
up.
that! The rat tail. All set up.
I'm just going to clean up the table for you.
Yeah, thank you. And here are the modeling tools that Steve never uses, but he will today.
We're expecting.
You're expecting to use them?
We're hoping.
So I'm going to put a little bit of gel color into this. We want it to be the color of a peanut, so I'm hoping that I do a good job of that.
So the yellow, I probably need
A
some
little bit of
yellow.
yellow, yeah. Okay. I'm just going to put one, this is gel color, so it goes a long way. And this one's not opened yet. I'll take the other bucket.
Okay.
Thank you. We are admiring your artistry there, Steve.
Thank you.
Steve has never made a chocolate animal before, but he was very enthusiastic about doing it.
They told me I was going to be very enthusiastic about doing it.
It was great.
I thought I was going to be the camera operator.
Don't. Oh, you did?
No.
I'm like, who?
But I did make a bucket of popcorn to just sit and watch you guys.
Where's the popcorn? I like popcorn. We actually went out for Vietnamese food right before we started doing this, so I don't think.
At my favorite Vietnamese restaurant. Okay.
Yeah, so I don't think any of us is hungry for popcorn.
Telling me.
But there's always room
All
for
right.
cake.
Always room for cake. Thank you. What? Did you give me?
Oh, sorry.
How did I get two lids for the yellow? Sorry, everyone, we're off camera here, but
No editing. The beauty of
the beauty
live
is live.
streaming.
Yes.
I like
I'm
it.
gonna put those there in case. So I put one kind of hefty drop of the brown in there and one of yellow, and when we start hand kneading it, we'll see what color it ends up being, because this is quite, it looks quite bright right now, but
This is when you hear everybody is sort of like concentrating because there's dead air.
we need some theme music.
Yeah, I would be playing music like in this copyright. Ma ma ma.
Ma, ma, ma. Is that the music?
That's it.
Ma, ma, ma. Making a peanut, making a squirrel.
There's nothing like it in the whole wide world.
Nice!
It's my Ethel Merman.
There's no business like show business. No business I know. For those of you who are too young for Ethel Merman, that was exactly her.
It was
The
exactly.
people on Facebook know, the people on Instagram do not.
Probably true.
That's probably very true.
So I'm just going to knead this and knead it and knead it until it comes together, and hopefully it actually does come together.
That is miraculous.
Yeah?
It is unbelievable to me.
That I've got buttercream in a lump on the
Eating
counter?
buttercream.
Yes. Yeah.
So we figured out a way for me to make also a mess of Vincent's kitchen.
I mean,
I'm trying to keep up.
Vincent is the cleanup team.
There was one episode where I had something in the oven on the show, and I went over to Amanda's station and started. I asked her if she needed any help, and she was perfectly fine. So I started just cleaning up around her, and I was just nervously cleaning things.
Gosh. Why does that not surprise me?
She didn't need to have me clean.
Did she like having you there, or was she like, oh, gee,
She's
get out of
just
my
like-
way?
She's just like, you're just cleaning nervously, aren't you? It's like, yes, I can't help it.
When we were interviewing you with the baking scraps, and you were like, And when I finished this and I cleaned my station, because I always clean my station, I was just, I was like, Vincent, that does not surprise me in any way. And then we have other guests who are just like, it was so nice, I never had to clean.
Hi, other guest.
That's the hippy dippy one who's too busy just
Right.
having joy and fun.
That's right. And my apron was almost always clean.
Oh man, that's kind of difficult to imagine.
They burned every one of my aprons.
They-
They actually sent me a bill for aprons at the end of the show. They said in the 5 years they ran the show, never had experienced.
They did not.
They did, for real. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And they cited James. They said even James at his worst couldn't do
Wow.
what you did, which I
Oh.
wear that as a badge of honor.
James, I hope you're watching,
If not,
because
please
that's
watch it
amusing.
later.
I'll show him. That's
Well,
kind of funny.
I think actually Karen won the dirtiest apron.
Oh yeah. Week 1.
Oh,
The blue apron. The
shows-
Smurf
the
murder.
showstopper. Oh my gosh. Was it the showstopper that happened?
It was, yeah.
Holy smokes, I never, it's like, wow, who exploded on you?
It was definitely Papa Smurf.
Someone blew.
Yeah. Booyah! Ladies and gentlemen, Lisa
Oh
Stewart. She'll
my-
be here all week. Don't forget to tip your waitress.
Oh my.
See, she's doing it without even knowing she's doing it.
That's, well, yeah. I almost said it was a slip of the tongue, and then I thought, well, no, he's going to make something of that. Yeah. Said it
How do you
anyway. Yeah, I know. My goodness. Lisa Caker lady. So this is,
She had a good run.
I'm losing followers by the second.
But you're gaining new ones.
Yeah. That's probably
And they
true.
all drink Guinness.
Oh, those slops. This stuff is like really goopy. It's not really holding together, so I'm not sure that this is going to be 100% workable. But you know, we keep going. Might want to put some more icing sugar in it. Maybe.
So does, what makes it stretchy and solidified? Like, is it the kneading part? Is it like the
As far as I
glucose?
understand, it's a combination. So, what? Are you making a joke in your head already? Yeah.
You sound like me. I thought I was the only one who was just sort of winging it.
Yeah, no, I'm 100% winging it. Like I said, this is something I've only made once before. Hi. And it's there. You are live.
Oh, Phil has joined the group.
Phil has joined the chat.
I'm just making a cup of tea.
Perfect. It sounds good. So some rolled buttercream recipes are made with glucose.
Mhm.
Some are made with corn syrup. This one is specifically made with corn syrup. You
Okay.
can often use corn syrup, like lily white corn syrup, as a substitute for glucose in a lot of recipes that call for glucose. And that's kind of causing it to be more of a pliable type of texture.
Right.
The icing sugar essentially is what's holding it together. And my suspicion is that it needs a little bit more icing sugar to kind of
Yeah.
make it so we can roll it up to cover the peanut. We can still cover the peanut with it,
I think it'll tear.
but we're not going to be able to like pick it up and put it on top.
Yeah.
So we could also add a little cornstarch to it. So kind of what I would start with is a little bit more icing sugar.
Okay.
If you-
Do you
if
want
you've
to do
got
it
some more.
in the mixer?
No,
No.
I want to
Okay.
keep doing this. Like just
grab
pretend
the
that I'm
top shelf.
making some bread and need a little bit more
This?
flour.
This?
Yep. Thank you.
And icing sugar does have cornstarch in it, so
It does.
we don't necessarily want to go straight to the cornstarch. But the kneading process is supposed to bring it together pretty well. Thank you. I didn't have time to practice it before I came.
This was all very like last minute,
Yeah,
so everybody knows.
we had no advertising. Nobody knew we were doing this.
I took the easy part. I know it's like cake recipe, make a cake.
Yeah, somebody give me a cake recipe.
That's me, 'cause
You
I'm-
also suggested doing what we're doing, like the
I
whole
know,
thing. So.
because I just had to make a cake.
And you're enjoying learning.
And I'm enjoying learning.
So, and his is turning out very squirrel-like. It's
It is. It does
super
look-
cute.
it looks like a
Whereas
squirrel.
my peanut covering might just.
It's okay.
It's gonna be actually probably we could even use it like modeling chocolate and just kind of smear it over because it's still going to end up
Yeah.
covering well.
We just have to be able to make some sort of texture out of it, like
Yeah. So that it will
the
stay
indentation.
because the peanut has indentations on it.
Yeah. That little
Does
belly
it look
buttons.
like? It does look like belly buttons.
Or very clean anuses.
I mean,
I was going focaccia, but hey,
Oh.
you do you.
belly buttons, focaccia bread. I mean, same. Got any rosemary for the belly buttons?
Rosemary for the belly button.
Is she still watching?
Oh yeah.
If we lose rosemary, we lose it all, man.
It's over.
Probably true. It could also be that corn syrup that I stole out of my friend's cupboard.
Borrowed.
I told her I was taking it. She said, "Take whatever you need." So, and now I'm needing it. Literally.
I don't think that would be
No.
like.
I don't think corn syrup can.
that doesn't go bad.
It did turn a kind of strange color, but
It's aged.
yeah, it's like a fine wine. We put wine in our rolled buttercream. Doesn't everyone?
And besides, it's okay. It didn't need to be white anyway.
No.
Because we're making it yellow.
Yeah. What do you think of the color? Do you want it more brown?
I think, yeah.
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 It's right there.
Let's start with that.
Sorry about that. So essentially, rolled buttercream, you're supposed to literally be able to roll it out. And this is a different recipe from the one that I did the last time I made rolled buttercream. That one worked really, really well. I was actually able to dust some molds with cornstarch and then just press the rolled buttercream into it and actually make these designs that I put onto my cake. So that looked fabulous. But this recipe, I couldn't remember which recipe I used for that one because I'm a sort of fly by the seat of my pants type of baker. Vince can't handle that, but I found another one and I thought this one should be good for covering the peanut, and it may not be. But that's okay, we can experiment.
Fire in the hole.
So, you say it never comes out of temper when you're doing that?
No,
like
because-
you put it into temper?
Well, no, because
When-
the chocolate is in temper to start.
To start
Right? When
with.
you buy the chocolate
Right.
like that, it's in temper.
Right.
So it's only once it gets above a certain temperature that it comes out of temper. And the temper it's the molecules that just sort of go the wrong way. And they need to come back the proper way. And there's a whole sciencey thing behind it. And there's actual chocolatiers who may or may not be watching or yelling at me right now. But that's really all it is in the simplest form.
Layman's terms, that's what we want
Yeah,
to give
layman's
to the people
terms
who are watching.
is the molecules have to be rearranged in a certain way, and the only way to do that is through temperature. Thus, you get the word temper. And I use the seeding method, which is what I described earlier. In this way, you never actually get it to a high enough temperature where the molecules go wonky. So it never loses temper. You can lose an ear, like I just did, but you can't lose temper.
You could lose an ear. That's what you were afraid of when
Yeah,
you met me.
exactly. I thought I was doing Picasso, but I ended up with Van Gogh.
So one of the things you can do is when you are making cake rounds and you don't want to bake them right away, the best thing to do is while the cake is still warm.
When you, sorry,
when you
you
want.
said when you don't want to bake them right away, but you mean when you.
Oh, so no, when you don't want to use them like right away, you want to bake them ahead of time to save time because you may have a busy weekend or whatever. You can take the cake rounds while they're still warm, almost hot, and then immediately cover it entirely with saran wrap and stick it in the freezer. That causes all of the moisture that's in the cake
to stay inside the saran wrap and in the cake itself. And when you freeze it and thaw it out again, all that moisture will stay in. If you let it dry, cool down completely and then wrap it, it's not as good because that moisture that is evaporating from the cake is leaving the cake. So this is a very good thing if you are busy and you do it. Steve does it all the time. I do it all the time.
Actually,
Absolutely.
I
And you actually,
routinely will freeze cakes.
yeah.
If I possibly can, I will bake the cake the day ahead and freeze it because that's more sciencey stuff that it changes the essentially the chemical structure, the
Yep.
composition of
Makes
what's
it a
in
little
there.
more solid.
More and also you keep the moisture. So.
Yeah, you end up with a moist cake, and the simplest explanation that anyone ever told me was, if you take your cake out of the oven and you leave it in the pan, take a look at it. You can see the steam coming. All that steam is the moisture leaving your cake. So if you wrap it while it's still warm, that moisture stays inside, and you'll actually end up with a better cake. It took me a long time to learn that a better cake is a cake that you've wrapped and frozen than one that you've just let out to cool.
Yeah, people have a lot of preconceived notions about that or misconceptions about freezing cakes. They think that a frozen cake is no longer fresh and is no longer good, but I think that a lot of bakers would tell you that it's one of the best courses of action for getting some good results of your cake.
Yeah, absolutely.
This feels different. It feels like it's coming together more. Still don't think I could pick it up and drape it over a cake, but this is definitely not what you would expect when you're thinking about buttercream. So it's kind of, I think what we're gonna do with it, when we get the peanut, we'll just kind of stretch it over it, and because it can like sink into itself, if we have to do any kind of patchwork with it, it'll just be easily smoothed, and then we'll just do the decorations on it. So
All right.
I'm gonna give it a couple more minutes. People are probably getting bored, but we still have viewers. I don't know what you guys are thinking. They're waiting for something exciting to happen. Are you gonna taste it? See how sweet it
It's
is?
important to have relatives.
Yeah. No, Jessie went to finish studying.
Yes. She has finished her last exam tomorrow and will be done undergrad as of tomorrow.
Wow,
So
congratulations.
I'd rather she be studying than watching me make a mess of the
Testicle
chocolate
joke.
squirrel.
That is, oh, it even has whiskers. It is a super cute little chocolate squirrel.
So also with removing cakes from pans, I like to, instead of running a knife around the edge of the pan to loosen it, which a lot of people do, I find that that sort of gives me a rough edge for the outside of my cake. So what I like to do is I like to just give it a shake vertically a couple of times side to side, and then go around in a circle. And then once you see that it starts to spin inside the pan itself, right?
Yeah.
Then you know you're good to go. It's all loose, and you just dump it out. It's ready to go. And no rough edges.
I would like to steal a piece of plastic wrap actually as well.
Sure. How much plastic wrap do you need?
Just enough to hold this. Yes. He does. Vince and I both agreed that we don't like running knife around the edges, but that doesn't mean it's a bad thing to do.
Do you want to bring that over here and put it over here? Or
Sure.
It's clean.
All right, so we're gonna, this is as cohesive as it's gonna get. I'm not gonna mess with it anymore, but we'll still be able to cover a cake with
Does it
it.
get a little harder when if you cool it down? Do you think?
It possibly could, yeah, but there's not a whole ton of butter in there, right? So it's pretty goofy. Welcome to Baking with Friends, the fail episode.
Speak for yourself.
What?
Speak for yourself.
Yeah, that's true. Just me.
I think it looks fabulous.
I don't know, it's maybe it's not the right peanutty color. Do you want more peanutty color? I could knead it for longer.
No, it's fine. I think that's a great color.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what did you think when you tasted it, Vince?
It was a bit sweet,
Yeah.
but you know, it's basically icing sugar
Mhm.
and corn
And
syrup.
corn syrup. It's gonna be sweet.
But you know, do I like it more than fondant? It's
I
Yes.
don't know.
I wouldn't want to eat either of them alone.
Yeah.
But you know, they serve their purpose, and I
Yeah.
like the idea of, you know, stretchable buttercream over.
So I'll be able to find a better recipe for it and test it next time for something that is actually, you know, you can actually pick it up and wrap it over a cake, because this one isn't doing what I asked it to do.
It's okay. Why don't we stick that in the fridge for a minute?
Sure.
And see, I'll take it. It's probably your pan, probably all
Oh yeah.
groups.
Well, let's take a look at this squirrel. Artistry. He's so cute.
Now I was considering possibly doing a little bit of white chocolate to give him the belly and the eyes, but for the sake of this live shot, I think we're just going to stick with a monotone. That's an artistic choice.
Very artistic.
And yeah, but I mean, if you have days to do,
Yeah.
and again, people remember what you see on Instagram, normally, like the little reels that we all love to watch, that is 85 fails, lots and lots of days.
Oh, speak for yourself. Never fail. Never fail.
Never a fail.
Never admit to
Okay.
failing.
Well, I will tell
Never
you.
admit, huh?
Oh, it says the live feed has frozen, so hopefully that's gonna get fixed.
But yeah, you know, honestly, I post pretty well everything I make, and
Yeah.
have a few fails here.
I mean,
generally speaking.
you also plan it very, very well, whereas some people just wing it.
She looked at me when she said some people, just so y'all know.
I was looking at myself.
She wasn't wrong, but she did look at me.
It's not an accusation. But I mean, this is one of the things that we have on our baking scraps feed. We post regularly baking craps, which are the fails, to
And I think
remind
that's
everybody that, you know, it doesn't always go the Chan way.
I wouldn't go to Chan, right? Yeah.
It doesn't always go to plan, and sometimes, you know, the best laid plans end up all over your kitchen, and then what is there to do but learn from it or laugh?
Yeah.
Or
right.
pivot if you're under a time crunch.
That's right.
Pivot.
And those days that I have those fails, it's not a fail more than, that's just that day. You're having just one of those bad baking days.
Yeah.
They happen, and it's a real thing. It's just, no matter what you do, how many times you do it, it will fail. And you can follow the recipe perfectly, and it will fail. It's just one of those days.
Macarons.
Exactly. No, you're absolutely right. I've had macaron days where
Macarons,
I had what, 300 macarons to make for the next day, and I made like 400 of them, and none of them worked. They were all volcanoing, and they were all like sideways, and I just went, you know what, I just need to go to bed. And it was like 2 o'clock in the morning. It was enough.
And then the next day.
8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 boom. No.
Yeah, and it seems to happen that way a lot,
Mhm.
right? I've been having some of those kind of issues with the podcast, like not baking, but it kind of made me think of that, because like we had technical error after technical error
Yes,
when
we
we were
did.
doing our podcast together,
Yes.
and I was just having so much trouble after the fact in post production.
Oh, really? Oh, boy.
Trying to fit it all together. That's why you may notice there's no official welcome, Vince.
That's what Phil said. It's like, they didn't say hello to you.
Oh, we sure did, but yeah, that it did not get recorded properly,
Oh,
and there were issues. But you know, you can spend like 3 hours trying to make it right, and just feeling like, okay, you know what? I gotta stop. I gotta look at this with fresh eyes tomorrow, and then you come back the next day, and somehow it just all falls into place,
Yeah.
and you make it work.
And that's right. And oftentimes it does just all fall into place.
Mhm.
You just have to be willing to trust in the process.
Yeah,
Right?
Yeah.
Take a breath and just deal with it.
Yeah, I'm loving the squirrel.
He's so cute. It's very funny.
I'm not thrilled with the rolled buttercream, but I also think it will be salvageable, workable.
And if not, we can always use
Cry?
buttercream and just pipe
Yeah.
a grid on it.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
you know,
Make it work.
and make it work.
Yeah. So I'm the representative of the baking crap in this group.
Hardly. You
Wait.
just-
I'm not even baking.
You're
is
doing,
awesome.
this is your thing though, this chocolate is definitely
So fun.
Steve.
It's a rabbit hole, man.
It's a squirrel hole.
It is a squirrel. Sorry, buddy. It's a squirrel.
So cute. He still does look like he's had a lot to eat, but
You need to move right back in the middle there, Susan.
Alright.
So people can see
people
what you
can
do.
see.
No, he's just
Very,
about
very
done.
cute.
He looks a little more ratatouille than squirrelatouille, but at the end of the day,
Ratatouille.
I'd invite him for dinner.
Squirrel. Well, you know, I don't think we're gonna feel too good about eating him.
Always. You know what? How many cakes have you made? And you too, Vincent, where people say it's too good to eat.
It's never too good to eat.
And never, because I'll just make another one.
Yeah.
That's all.
And they're made to eat, not
Exactly.
to stare at all day.
Some things you don't want to have to do again, though.
I would
Although
do
I
this
have to
again,
say,
for
your
sure.
cookie, I did not eat your cookie for like a month.
Mike, the cookie you made for me,
I
still
made
in the
cookies-
freezer.
I made cookies for them and for Ming Ling and for Candace the last time that we were here visiting. And they had their faces on them. And
Just
They
like
were
us.
amazing.
Exactly like us.
and apparently it's a difficult thing to eat your own face.
As
So,
much as you try.
why didn't you trade cookies? Instead of putting them in the
I
freezer.
can't afford that kind of therapy.
You didn't even take one bite, Vincent?
I did. I ate it. It was
Oh, you
delicious.
did? Okay,
Yeah,
good.
I eventually did. I
Yeah.
just thought, this can't go to waste.
It was really good.
It was
And
delicious.
I took a bite of mine and the rest is in the freezer.
Alright.
Every now and then I pull it out and say, my cookie's handsome.
It's a very handsome cookie.
Yeah, the cookie's handsome. This is, well,
He's
the
very
rest.
handsome man.
well, we don't know about
Stacy's
that.
a lucky one.
Mm-hmm. Ladies and gentlemen, I think if we keep on going, we're going to end up with just too much.
I think
so
this is a
I
squirrel.
think we got a squirrel.
I think so too.
I think
Squirrel.
we're squirrel.
Squirrel!
Squirrel.
So that's our squirrel. Gloves came off.
Yay! Clap your hands.
If I do.
It's kind of like what Christina said she was going to do if she ever got to hold your cake plate. She said she was going to put super glue all over her hands. I was like,
I can take this off.
that's not a good idea.
All right, so let's
Right.
let's
Put
put
this guy back.
squirrel somewhere.
Somewhere safe.
Oh! Do
It's
we,
okay. He just lost an eye.
Scroll down. Well, he's drunk.
Okay.
He's been drinking Guinness all day.
do we want to put a little bit of, just a little bit
A little
of
bit extra.
extras just
Yeah.
to keep them stable?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
What's that?
It's a timer.
It's a timer.
It's got to mean something.
What
Doesn't
is
mean-
the timer?
Doesn't mean anything.
You hit repeat
I
instead
hit
of stop.
Exactly.
Okay.
So the next step is, once Steve vacates this area,
Cleans up a bit.
I was just
Oh,
about to
you
pause,
get
yeah, just to get a little bass for him.
Yeah.
sorry.
I've also completely destroyed the whole saran thing with these hands.
That's all right.
The best
Welcome to
laid
my world.
plans. Had good intentions.
Yes, but that's okay.
It was still a great idea. I mean, most
It-
people wouldn't be this
It's a
messy.
great idea for everyone but me.
Yeah, and I think we can
And then
cover the. What was that you used to make the indentations that you were thinking of to make the indentations on the?
oh, that was your part.
You
No, we-
showed me
we-
something that would
I
work,
did?
but
No, I just sort of
okay.
said that
Well,
we'll use the ball. The ball.
the ball will work perfectly.
Yeah, the ball will be good.
Actually,
I
let's see
think
which
it's
one we
the
want.
big ball.
The big ball, yeah.
Love me a big ball.
And he leaves. Just like that.
Ba-dum-bum. He didn't want to see what our reaction was going to be. I think we both had the same exact reaction. I love the squirrel. What's his name?
He doesn't have a name as
We
yet.
need to give it. How about our viewers give him a name? If we have any viewers.
Alright.
So somebody suggest a name for the squirrel. Oh, Stacy! She says it looks adorable.
Can't be my Stacy.
Yeah, she's under Marley's name.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, and we've got someone else piping Max right now and saying, please no fails. All right.
What failed?
No fails. We don't want any Chippy. Jeff Crozier says Chippy.
Chippy.
Chippy. Is that the name of this?
We're
squirrel?
asking for name suggestions.
Squirrel names?
Squirrel names.
Awesome.
I don't know if on Facebook you've got comments enabled.
I don't probably have comments enabled, which I should have. I don't know how to do
That's
that.
okay. We're just learning. We're just learning. We got people watching, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah, friends.
Well,
Hello,
nobody
friends.
else has suggested
Okay,
Chippy.
where would you like me to put
Chippy
it?
the
Just leave 'em on
squirrel.
Let's leave them on that. And
Okay.
If we have any other suggestions, we will take them into consideration. But as of now, is Chippy the squirrel.
All right.
You guys agree with that?
Sure, absolutely.
Chippy.
Well, because any name I'll come up with will not be.
It
Will
wouldn't
not be appropriate.
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
I really want to hear some of them.
Off camera.
Okay.
All right, I'm just going to give a quick clean.
Yeah. The
Uh,
blowtorch, we took the blowtorch out, but we never used it again.
I like to have it there as a comfort item. It's my emotional support torch.
So if Steve ever goes on Survivor, this is his comfort item.
That's frightening.
Yeah, it is. He can start a fire though. That
That's
won't
right.
be any
That's
any challenge.
That's right. Let's just burn the whole damn place.
Can you imagine? Comes down to, okay, who's going home? Well, it's a fire making challenge. Steve's like,
Thank you very much.
all right. Don't know if there's any Survivor watchers out there, but I know Larry's a Survivor watcher.
I used to watch it.
Hmm?
I used to watch it.
Yeah.
All right.
It is a favorite for me.
All right. Next up.
Next up, we are going to cover the peanut.
That's right. So what I want to show everybody, which we sort of skipped a step here. After I get this countertop clean again.
Skipping a
Thank
step,
you,
and I'm
Steve.
skipping. And stepping.
Skipping step. All right.
It's like no reaction whatsoever.
All right. So we have our cake rounds, which are good. These are going to be going in the freezer. But what we've done is the step that we skipped is actually the icing step, which we are using peanut butter icing. Was that yours?
Peanut butter filling, yeah.
Yep, the peanut butter filling. And my recipe, where the recipe go? I'll just give you the recipe here, verbally. It's very easy. It's 168 grams of room temperature unsalted butter, 375 grams of creamy peanut butter. I like chunky peanut butter, and I was only using it for the filling, and I wasn't using it to coat the outside and do the crumb coat, so I was able to use that. But if you're going to use it for the crumb coat as well, it will not be a good idea, because it's just going to be like chunks everywhere. It's going to be tearing all over the place. You don't want that.
Especially this cake. It's a really moist.
Very moist and very
Soft.
tender.
Yeah.
So 168 of butter, 375 of peanut butter, 230 grams is my adjustment to the recipe of powdered sugar, and a quarter teaspoon of salt, which is also my adjustment to this recipe. The original recipe has milk and milk involved as well, but that's to loosen up all of that powdered sugar, because I had more powdered sugar, but I found it got a little bit cloyingly sweet, so I dialed that back, and the amount of sugar I used was just enough to make it like buttercream consistency.
So not my recipe.
So it is your recipe, but and then all you do is you put the butter and the peanut butter into the mixer, whip it until it's nice and fluffy, and then on stirring speed add the powdered sugar, and once that's all incorporated, and the salt, you're pretty well done.
Yeah.
And that's easy. Okay?
Yeah.
So you fill, stack, cut, and what you end up with is our little peanuts.
Yay!
So that's our peanut that we're going to be covering with the stretchable
Let's not call it stretch. Let's call it rolled
Rolled.
buttercream that doesn't roll. But I promise I will find a better recipe. We'll start this again.
Draped buttercream. Okay. It's going to be draped.
We'll model the buttercream.
There you go.
Potentially.
All right.
So you've got that in the fridge.
I'll get that out of the fridge.
And we had another suggestion, 2 suggestions for a squirrel name. And one was Steven with a PH.
Oh.
And,
There's already a PH, Steven.
And one was Sir Numbnuts.
I love Sir Numbnuts. I do love Sir Numbnuts. But, you know, look at the crowd you're pleasing, right?
So this rolled buttercream, as I said, it is not really becoming that nice stretchable, rollable buttercream the way that I would like it to be. It's kind of firmed up a little bit being in the fridge. I'm not going to take the entire thing and put it on. See, as I start playing with it, it starts immediately to just pull apart. So this is the reason why I have not been on the show.
No, that's the reason why you should be on the show.
Because I messed up rolled buttercream. So we are just going to kind of work with it and drape it, and we don't want it to be a hugely thick layer anyway. But the good thing with this is it's really quite forgiving, and you can get the texture, right?
Yeah, that's all right.
So we're just going to kind of smooth it down, try to make it a bit of an even layer on there.
Okay.
Can't do this with fondant.
No.
And it tastes gross. So I'm just going around, kind of smushing it into all the cracks. Fill up the dead space. I think that's probably the exact right amount.
Let me get a tool for you.
Yeah, I don't know how well that would work on it. But. All right, so we are covered. And I just want to kind of go around the edge. Do you have like
so
a?
let me do the edge part.
Yeah.
So when I do a shaped cake like this, and I have like a rounded, like anything rounded, I have this little piece of plastic I cut out. I don't know if you can see that shape. We're going to try to get the reflection for you. So that shape.
Is that a rhombus?
It's just.
It is a rhombus, yes.
But also.
I didn't pass grade 11 math 3 times in a row.
I also did like a rectangle shape as well. So these are great, and what these are from is from packaging that is similar to something like, you know, it could be something like as easy as this. You just cut out shapes. And what's the nice thing about it is that when you see when Lisa is pushing in on the bottom, there's sort of like a little bit of a curve, and you want that to go inside. So you put this underneath and pull up. Well, this doesn't work on this side.
Yeah, it won't work the same.
But it does a little bit.
You might want to tip.
So we just do this first, and then we can go back and fix the on the top part. And that way it
just
will
to pull it up and away from.
That's right. Pull it up away from the.
So you're kind of tucking under and then pulling, smoothing it up.
That's right. So if this was actually buttercream, you could actually just smooth all the way around. And that's how I did the crumb coat for the peanut in the first place.
Yeah, which looked pristine.
You start with perfect and you hope for the best.
And fortunately, we've chosen something that needs to be textured anyway.
That's right. So this is actually.
This is how you cheat.
That's right. So this is looking pretty
That
good.
rates are numbnuts.
Well, that got on fast.
We may have had some more suggestions, but I haven't had a chance to check. So this kind of just blends into itself, which is kind of handy.
All right. So now I'm going to leave that to you.
All right. So like we said, a lot of people don't like fondant. The taste of it. Homemade fondant, different story.
Is it though?
I don't know. I haven't.
It's
made
probably
it.
better.
I've never
It is.
succeeded.
I
in
made
making it,
homemade
but
fondant.
Yeah, it's
And-
probably
We'll
better.
make marshmallow fondant.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was good.
It's
It
gonna
was.
take it.
Was it like
If I can give a shout out to Sugar Geek,
Yep.
Oh.
Sugar Geek Show. I made hers.
She's
Liz.
amazing.
That homemade. If you're gonna eat fondant, that's edible fondant. It's actually good.
So is it messy to make?
Not really. Strangely enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I always thought, like I've seen marshmallow being made before, and marshmallow is absolutely.
Faulty. I need the big one. It needs to be washed. That's how I interrupt the show. I'm sorry. You've seen it be made before.
I've seen it being made before. Like I've seen marshmallow being made before, and it is messy. It gets
Yes.
everywhere.
Thank you.
Isn't this backwards?
Culinary team. A little bit.
Yeah.
So I'm just using the large ball tool and just pressing impressions in here, and it's actually, I think, staying pretty well. Like
It
we're
is.
getting a really good peanutty texture
If
here.
you push the ball into the peanut, it's perfect.
My gosh. Just have to go there.
Peanut, I said. Peanut.
Well, you're not gonna push it. Never mind. Okay. Like,
The internet is
I'm
vast.
confused. Yeah. Oh my goodness. So as I'm pushing the ball in, don't do that. This is why. I'm wearing gloves. I'm giving it a little twist, which is part of why I'm flicking it across the room. It's because then you're not getting it to stick and pull the inside
Why
of
don't you come in the shop,
Oh,
Steve?
so just
Oh,
come in.
I'm just
if you're
admiring
doing
her
this,
work. It's amazing.
you basically can push it in, and then whatever whatever covering you've got on there can just pull right out, and then end up kind of,
Mm-hmm.
not having that nice little indentation. So a little bit of a twist will help kind of
Mm-hmm.
scoop it out, and yeah, some of it still.
Or I would imagine that if you sort of had a little bit of butter or something on the side, and you sort of put the tool in the butter once in a while just to lubricate it,
Yeah.
it would
Says you.
Mine?
just say.
Oh golly, gee willikers, man!
All the way across the
Heavens.
country.
Heavens to Murgatroyd! This is actually, it's firming up on this
Mhm.
side, which is interesting. We're getting
It's
a
because
little,
it's cold.
or because it's thinner over here, because I see we're getting a little bit of the crumb coat coming through.
Which is fine.
Yeah, it
It's
works.
a peanut.
We're
It's
getting
organic.
its texture. Yeah. I'm liking this. You guys, how you feeling about our
I love it.
peanut?
I'm looking pretty good, I think. Looks good.
Did you say I'm looking pretty good?
Yeah,
There's no mirror here.
that's okay though. The peanut looks good too.
The peanut looks good. You do look pretty good.
For all of it. You're trying.
Charming.
Try to do it. That looks great.
Yeah, I'm feeling like this is turning out. So this is what happens. You keep going when something doesn't go quite the way that you expect it to go. You pivot and just work with what you got. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. If it does work, yay, lucky. Kind of hard to get down at the bottom there, but it was a great choice to do a peanut, Vincent, because it really,
It's forgiving.
it's very forgiving. Peanuts are forgiving. Yeah, we're getting there.
Can you imagine if you asked me to do an elephant to scale for this thing?
That would have been cool. I would have definitely not been able to show how I did the rolled buttercream, because you would have taken over the whole entire counter. All right, I don't know if you guys can see this, but it's pretty exceptional.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty peanutty.
Yeah.
Not really any kind of pattern, just a bunch of little.
Look at that.
Does it look like a peanut?
It's a
I think
peanut.
so.
Found a
Absolutely.
peanut, found a peanut, found a peanut last night. And Vincent will make it dirty. Yes, that's just what Vincent does.
That's what I do.
So I can feel that it's kind of starting to move down a little bit, but I think,
Like slide?
yeah, just kind of slide a little bit, but it is settling into place. So what do you guys think?
I think it looks great.
Yeah?
Amazing.
We better cut into it before it slides
It's
anywhere.
not going to slide that much.
So we're gonna
Now
have
we
to
have-
put
we
the
gotta put the
squirrel
We have
guy
to.
on.
Do you have a little bit of? Do we have any buttercream or
Yes.
even
He's
the
got
rolled
buttercream.
buttercream? Any kind, just a
I don't think the rolled buttercream will stick very well.
just
If
a
you
little
wanted to
something to anchor his butt down to the board,
Yeah,
as it
we
were.
need some continuity also. There we go. A big giant. I'm scared I'm gonna dump it on the floor. A big giant peanut.
You want peanut butter or Swiss meringue? We'll do Swiss meringue.
Sure.
Just because we know what Swiss meringue does. We don't need another variable on this project.
Oh, we're getting some fabulous comments.
It's like just right here, right? You can be looking right over the thing.
Right here. Why don't we place, sort of loosely place it. And then I can figure out, watch the back.
Too many cooks.
How does that look? Is that good?
That's so
Right
cute.
there. And this is where you say first time. For me, anyway, what would I change? I'd make his tail bigger,
Yeah.
coming all the way up to the top of his head.
Yeah.
And of course, I would spend more time so he wouldn't look so blotchy. But I think it's the sun, really. He was out in the sun a little bit
He's
much today.
drunk. He had too
But-
much Guinness.
It's a little bit of mange. It's
It's these Ontario squirrels.
Damn Ontario squirrels, they're all mangy. So that's it. I think that we should get the phone over here and you can get a close up of it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave
You
my.
can turn it around. You can reverse it so you can.
Sure, I could. You
yes,
could do it
yes,
if you want.
can. Oh, there we go. Does that work?
It does. Look at that.
Sir Numbnuts and his prize.
There it is.
Well, Chippy may be a more appropriate name, but I think Sir Numbnuts works pretty well.
I think it does.
So when my two friends, Christine and Christina, asked what we were planning on making, I said a drunk squirrel and a peanut, and they did not understand what I was talking about and thought I was trying to throw them off the scent. But we legit made, he's not really drunk, but we made a mangy
That's
squirrel.
right. He's not wearing holding a glass of Guinness, but that's okay. But yeah, looking pretty good, I think. Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
that was
So
kind of pretty good for our first collaboration.
I think that was a great collaboration.
Yeah.
And what we'll do is, I don't know, we're gonna have to take some pictures. We won't, make you sit through this painful process.
We gave you enough pain today.
That's right. And I will, we'll take some pictures and then we'll cut into the cake and we'll show what the inside looks like. But thank you for joining us, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, stop!
And Steve. Thank you, Lisa and Steve, for
Thank you all for putting up with
so
us.
happy to be here.
For the children that we are.
And I hope this gave you some sort of tips and tricks that you can use in your own bakes in the future.
Yeah.
So, have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.
Oh, watch and listen to a new episode of Baking Scraps
That's right. And
tomorrow, every Tuesday.
that's right. So that's a baking scraps. What's your Instagram
Plug.
handle?
Oh, Grateful Baker 243.
Yay!
That's all I do.
Yeah.
And then I show up places.
And it's awesome. And I'm obviously Vincent_Chan_bakes on Instagram. So
Yes.
follow along. Follow all of us. Take care. Bye bye.
Oh, share.